Current news podcast.
With Elu and Jesse.
Yes. Ever get that feeling? You know that feeling like those picture-perfect celebrity Instagram feeds, they're hiding something, something juicier, like way juicier than like a carefully staged paparazzi shot. Well, get ready because the latest headlines about Ashton Kutcher and his longtime friend Sean Diddy Combs, it's a wild ride. We're talking about the underbelly of fame, the price of loyalty, all that good stuff. So today we are diving deep into what this whole saga says about celebrity, friendship, and those oh no he didn't moments that make us question, well, everything.
Yeah, what I find really fascinating about this whole thing is it's like, peeling back the curtain on this whole celebrity machine.
Right.
The lengths they go to protect their image, what happens when that facade starts to crack, it's really something.
Okay, so for our deep dive today, we're starting with this article. The headline, Ashton Kutcher is the next celebrity Diddy is taking down with him. I mean, talk about a headline, right?
Yeah.
But seriously, Diddy's in some pretty hot water here. We're talking racketeering, sex trafficking, charges that could, seriously impact his life. And one of the allegations, this is in a sealed indictment from one of the alleged victims, claims that Diddy told her to perform sexual acts on, get this, on both him and a male entertainer in Las Vegas or be thrown off a balcony.
Wow.
Yeah, it's heavy stuff.
And these aren't, just random accusations floating around. These are serious charges. And if they stick, the ripple effects that could be huge, not just for Diddy, but for anyone connected to him.
And that brings us to Mr. Ashton Kutcher. These two, they go way back, like over 2 decades.
Right.
Remember that time they were on James Corden's show back in 2018? They're joking about their bromance, even tossing around this idea of like a joint presidential run. Can you imagine?
It's hard to forget.
I know. And the photos, they're everywhere. Red carpets, events, that infamous white party Kutcher threw for Diddy back in 2009.
Exactly. And that's what makes Kutcher's silence right now, it's deafening. In Hollywood, you know how it goes. When a scandal like this blows up, celebrities, especially someone as big as Kutcher, they usually go into like damage control overdrive.
Oh, absolutely.
Statements, carefully worded statements are issued. Distances are, very deliberately established. You know the drill.
Control the narrative before it controls you.
Exactly. But so far, all we've gotten is this vague statement from a source close to Ashton Kutcher. And they're saying that they've only crossed paths at a handful of social and business events. Come on. Considering their history, this feels like someone's trying to rewrite like the entire story here, don't you think?
It's like trying to convince me that water isn't wet.
Right.
And this is where things get really fascinating to me because it makes us think about like accountability.
Yeah.
How much responsibility do we put on people for what their friends do?
Yeah.
Especially in a world where image is everything.
Oh, it's a slippery slope for sure.
And it's bigger than image, right?
Yeah.
Like it makes you wonder when you really think about it. Is Kutcher's silence, is it strategic? Or, and this is a big or, is there actually a chance that he's like totally oblivious to all of this, like the extent of Diddy's alleged actions,
Right. That's the $1 million question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it forces us, I think, to really grapple with loyalty, right? Like we as humans, we are hardwired to stand by our friends, even when they mess up.
Of course. Yeah.
But at what point does that silence, that loyalty become something else? When does it cross the line? Especially with accusations as serious as these.
It's like that saying, right? Like, show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are. But what happens when your friend like drastically changes, like turns into someone you don't even recognize, someone accused of things that just like rock your world, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And it gets even more complicated when we like bring in Kutcher's own advocacy work. We have to remember this is someone who like co-founded Thorn, an entire organization dedicated to like fighting child sexual exploitation.
Right. He's been very vocal about it.
Exactly. He's testified before Congress about this stuff. So the irony, it's definitely not lost on anyone.
No, not at all. It's like he's built this platform, this whole persona on protecting people, protecting vulnerable people. And now his close friend, his longtime friend, is facing these horrific accusations.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just makes you like re-examine everything. Like, do we hold public figures, celebrities to a different standard? Are we allowed to like be disappointed when when their actions don't match up with their words, their image.
It's a classic case of do as I say, not as I do, right? And it really highlights this potential for hypocrisy. It's like this hypocrisy that often comes with fame. And I think as a society, we do this thing where we build these celebrities up, we put them on these pedestals, and then we're shocked, we're surprised when they turn out to be, well, flawed. They're human.
Right. It's like we forget they're just as capable of, I don't know, bad judgment as the rest of us. Bad company, even, maybe.
Exactly. And what I find really interesting, really fascinating is like the silence. Like, it's deafening. And it's not just Kutcher. It's all these other A-listers who've been like joined at the hip with Diddy for years. I mean, this is a guy who was like the king of Hollywood, right? The king of the nightlife scene, rubbing shoulders with, everyone.
And yet, nothing. Crickets. Nobody from that inner circle, no one saying a word. You'd think, right? Like, you'd think there'd be at least a few, I don't know, gasps of shock. A couple of carefully crafted statements from, like, publicists, earning their keep. But no, it's eerie.
Well, I think it really speaks to that culture of silence you see in Hollywood. These are people who, like, their entire world is image management.
Oh, 100%.
And I think legal stuff aside, I think there's this unspoken fear, right? This fear of being the one to break ranks. You don't want to be that person, the one who, like, risks their career, their reputation by actually speaking up.
So it's like this code, this unspoken code. You protect your own. Even when it's, I don't know, uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Even if it means like looking the other way when maybe you shouldn't.
It's self-preservation, plain and simple. And you know what? This isn't just a Hollywood thing. This is something we see everywhere, right? All sorts of industries, friend groups, even families, It's that pressure to conform, to not make waves, even when we know deep down something isn't right.
So then how do we break free from that? How do we become like more discerning about who we support, who we trust, especially these days, right? Where it feels like everyone's trying to sell us something, an image, a product, an idea.
It starts with asking those tough questions, looking beyond those carefully curated facades, right? It's about understanding that our heroes, they're human, they have flaws, they make mistakes, they're just like us. And most importantly, I think it's about recognizing that our silence, it has power too. Sometimes the most radical thing, the bravest thing you can do is speak up, even when it's hard, even when it feels risky.
So the next time you're scrolling through Instagram, feeling that twinge of envy, right, looking at those seemingly perfect lives, just remember, there's always more to the story. Don't be afraid to look closer, to question what you see, and to hold on, like really hold on to your own values, even when the crowd is doing something different.
Because at the end of the day, it's not about, who's the most popular. It's about what's right.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And on that note, we'll leave you with this. In a world obsessed with image, where does true integrity lie?
Turn the dial to the daily news. Turn the dial to the daily news. Turn the dial to the daily news. Bringing voices, headlines, and shoes. We turn the dial to the daily news.